All right, M.A.S movies and shows, and shout outs to all the chingones y chingonas. Yes, I'm doing this on two different platforms. Why am I doing this on the boxing channel? Well, because it's a boxing movie about an actual boxer. So shout outs to all the chingones y chingonas, and shout outs to everybody on M.A.S movies and shows. All right, so um, it's been a while since I've been to the movie theater. There hasn't really been anything that has pulled me into the theater. I used to love going to the movies, man, but lately I've just kind of been looking at movies and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, not really, man. And when I saw this, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go watch this movie. So we got the story of Christy Martin, and it's played by Sweeney. Now, I remember her career. Women's boxing, she was the one that brought it, I mean, to light, man, in all reality, because I've been watching boxing since, heck, I don't know, somewhere in the 80s, and I never really heard of women's boxing until her, and she was really blowing up, man, fighting in the undercards of Mike Tyson, and it shows all that in this movie. So basically, the movie kind of starts with her participating in tough guy challenges, right? She's in from a small town, the coal miner's daughter, and she just be, entering these challenges, throwing on some gloves, getting in there and duking it out with some other chick, right? And then, hey, you get paid. It's just a tough guy challenge, nothing big, nothing major, small little world town, right? And at some point, somebody gets an eye on her. She gets a phone call and it's like, hey, you know what? We'd like you to come up to Bristol of all places, right? To try out, train and everything. Now, throughout all this, she's going through some bad times at home with her family. Why? Here's one thing I didn't know, right? But she's from the other side of the tracks, man. I never knew that she was lesbian. All right. Now, am I spoiling it for you? Yeah, maybe. But you find out very, very fast in the very beginning of the movie that she is. And honestly, I did not know that until I watched this movie. So when I said I followed Christy Martin's career, just what they were showing on TV, just her fights. I never really followed her. I still don't follow her like that. So I found a lot of this stuff interesting and new to me, that is. Now, she goes up to Bristol. They put her in a place uh, to live in a trailer park. Oh, I'm sorry, in a trailer house right by the racetrack where she trains and all. And she starts building relationships. She gets her trainer. I do remember hearing about a lot of abuse and things that she went through. Now, this movie, it shows abuse, but it's not the highlight of the movie, which I thought it was going to be that. You guys remember the movie What's Love Got to Do with It with Tina Turner? A lot of that movie showed, abuse that she suffered through with Ike, right? In this one, I was kind of waiting for, some serious abuse going on, right? Now, it was talked about in the movie. It was definitely talked about. However, you don't really see too much abuse. Yes, it does show a little bit here and a little bit there. Definitely, there's something off with Homeboy, right? Homeboy comes off as a straight weirdo, dog, straight out, man. I forgot his name. Maybe some of you guys know his name. I forgot his name, but he comes out like a straight weirdo. You could tell she didn't even really want to marry him. She's over there running around behind his back and, hooking up with or meeting up with her ex lover, which is another female, which doesn't look good. The family doesn't like it. The dad, I recognized the dad from somewhere. I'm like, good gosh, this dude aged terribly, man. It made me think about myself, like, gosh, darn it, am I really that old? Because I remember this dude when he was like making high school movies. Now he's heck, forget a father. This guy almost looks like a grandpa now. But nonetheless, um, yeah, I was always kind of waiting for like the major, major abuse. They just kind of alluded to it. They showed a little bit here, they showed a little bit there. I didn't know there was like some weirdo tapes that he would make of them, and they just slightly touch on that. where I'm just kind of like, whoa, yeah, this dude, this guy's mind is on a different level, man. I'll tell you, coming way out of left field. Um, but one thing that kind of that kind of struck me, right, was the relationship that she had with her family, which was not a good one, with the exception of her brother, which always kind of touched me in the sense of like, gosh, it seems like you and your brother have a really good relationship, but yet she feels like she doesn't have her family, right? The mom comes off really bad in this movie. All right. I don't know anything about her family outside of this movie. I'm being real with you guys. I know nothing about her family. I don't know anything about her life other than just what she did in the ring. That was it. So, the mom comes off really, really bad in this movie. The dad, you know what, man? The dad comes out like a straight puss, homie. Straight out. The guy comes off like a straight puss, like his wife wears the pants, which is Christy's mom, and he just sits there and shuts up. He can act somewhat tough, but it just looks like she got some vice grips, man. Like that's it. Like you don't really hear him talk much. He just kind of sits there, right? So she definitely does not have a good relationship with her mom. The dad, I'm not even really sure. He's just kind of there. The brother, it seems like they got a good relationship, but for one reason or another, they never really connect. They really never communicate with one another. What she does have is her original lover, which is a female, right? And throughout all of this, she's being told like, hey, man, it doesn't look good. You can't be hanging around with other chicks like that. So she goes, she marries her trainer, this weird old dude that just proposes out of nowhere, by the way. I never saw it coming. I'm like, okay, when are you guys going to start like becoming a couple? Like, I see what's going on, but just out of nowhere, it's just like a proposal. Um, the Don King thing comes around, and there's so much that goes on all in between that where you can see like, okay, I can see where this relationship is headed. Her relationship with her trainer, which is also her husband. Now, one thing that's important in this movie never really got me to like Christy Martin. Now, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. The reason why I appreciate it is because I remember she wasn't that likable. Again, how many of her fights did I watch? Just what was on the undercards. I remember when she fought Layla Ali later on, as in the 2000s. But yeah, it's not like I was some huge follower of Christy Martin. I whenever it was on, I would watch her, and that's all the knowledge I really had of her. But I remember her being not, some people not liking her, some people loving her, right? My mother, my mom, she did not like Christy Martin. Okay. And it shows when I was watching this movie, it showed that fight. I don't remember who she was fighting. All right. And I remember she had wobbled her opponent, dropped her opponent. Her opponent gets up all wobbly, and the referee stops it. And then Christy Martin starts dancing like wobbly, right? Like mocking her opponent. And I remember that fight specifically because I was watching it with my mom, and that disgusted my mother. It disgusted my mom how she was acting, right? And when I saw it in the movie, I'm like, I remember that. I remember that vividly, by the way. So she's not, this super duper humble person. When she starts getting the fame and the money and all that, she's definitely a chick that's rough around the edges, right? She's not this little sweetheart. Yeah, yeah, she's wearing pink and everything, but she's not this super duper little sweetheart. She's got a foul mouth. She's definitely rough around the edges. She's she's kind of like a dude almost, man, right? So and I remember like I said, I remember some people wanting her to get her ass kicked because she was just so cocky. And this movie picks up on that. This movie picks up on it. So you got this kind, at least I had this kind of relationship with her in the movie where it's like, I like her. I'm rooting for her. At the same time, I want her to get humble, right? But you're seeing everything that's happening outside of the ring. You're seeing what she's going through. You see her relationship with her family. You get angry at the family. You get angry at the mom. You get angry at the husband, the trainer. You get angry at so many people that are, trying to push Christy a certain way and she doesn't want to go. But at the same time, you're kind of like, my God, I don't really like this chick, man. I don't like her attitude either, right? So there's all these kind of different emotions to where the movie comes to the very end. And as I'm sitting there and the movie's really starting to wrap up, I'm kind of like, wow, you know what? This was quite the story. This was quite the incredible story. I really enjoyed this movie. I really did. And I highly, highly recommend it. Now, do you need to go to the movie theaters to watch it? Look, you don't have to go to the theaters to watch it, right? There's certain movies where it's like, man, you have to go to theater to watch it. You don't have to, um, but I don't feel like I wasted my money. I didn't walk out of there thinking to myself, like, I could have waited for this to come out streaming somewhere. Like, no, I'm glad I watched it in the movie theater. I am. And I think this movie is gonna do a couple of things to the ladies, right? Especially young ladies that watch this movie. Okay. And it's not all good. I think some women are going to be inspired in the way of like, yeah, let's kick some ass, right? And I think some women are going to take it in a way of inspiration to go after their dreams. And I think some women are going to be inspired to, you know, just be over the edge of like anti-male almost. I'm not saying this movie pushes that, but I could definitely see little sprinkles of it. Now, I'm not saying there's an agenda to this movie. It was just her story, and that's just who she was, which is fine. But when they're in court and she's talking to him and everything, it was very entertaining. To say the least, it was very entertaining. So I enjoyed it. I recommend it. Is there a lot of boxing in it? There's a lot of quick scenes of her boxing. But as far as like a full fight, of, Rocky versus, Clubber Lang or something of that sort, you don't really get that much of it. But there are quick scenes and her training and a lot of her life outside of the ring and the struggles that she had to go through. And I did not know. I remember hearing that she was abused, but I remember hearing she was stabbed. I didn't know she was shot and stabbed. But yeah, man, it's all in here. So I recommend it. You guys go ahead, check it out. If you guys want to go to a movie theater, check it out. That's fine. I don't feel like I wasted my money going to the movie theater. If you guys just want to wait till it comes out streaming, that's fine as well. I don't think it's a must watch in the theater. So to each their own. I'll catch you guys on next one.